those memories of me going to the movies with my friends and my family growing up. And it's just this wonderful smell of buttery popcorn, and sometimes cleaning solution. I don't know. Mostly popcorn. The movie theater just has such a distinct smell, and it just smells amazing. And I feel like the moment I walk through those doors, I can just relax. just share a little bit about some of the movies that we've been seeing lately. The movie theater that we go to is a local movie theater. It's not like one of those big movie theater companies, like for example AMC. There are like quite a few movie theaters that do like dine-in experiences, and those can be quite expensive, I'm sure, but this is just like a small little theater, and it is just really quaint and wonderful, and pretty reasonably priced, to be honest. So we've been definitely going to see stuff at that movie theater more. A lot of times they sometimes have like bigger, well-known movies with big stars, and then other times they show movies that aren't as well-known, kind of like indie films, or like foreign films. It just depends, and sometimes they'll show like old movies as well. But anyway, so the movie that we saw this weekend was called Zone of Interest. Zone of Interest. And this was actually a German. It was like a German movie and had English subtitles. If you watched the trailer for it, the trailer that I watched for it, they didn't say anything, so we had no idea what it was going to be like. But this movie was based on a novel by Martin Amis, and the two main stars were Sandra Hüller and Christian Friedel. So it was, again, in German. Everyone was, I think, German. But this movie was loosely based on the life of Rudolf Haas, who was a commandant for the Auschwitz concentration camp. And some of the reviews that I read described this movie as being brilliant but haunting storytelling. And basically, it really gave a clear picture of what life was like for this German family that was this commandant, and how they were experiencing life on the other side of the Auschwitz concentration camp wall. I do have to say that this movie was highly disturbing and uncomfortable to watch, but my husband and I both agreed that it was a really good movie. Really good movie. A lot of movies that you see about the Holocaust show a lot of what was happening inside of the camp, and are obviously very heartbreaking because it's showing the death of many people. This film did not show any of that, but it almost was louder and more impactful because you know what's going on the other side of the wall, and the people in this family were just experiencing life normally, like many families experience on a daily basis now. It was just wild, and the fact that it was based off a true story of this guy's life, and I don't know, everything this guy, Rudolf Haas, lived for was just even crazier. We left the theater just really with so many questions, and just very, appreciative